Welcome to the Wisdom and Truth. Hope if you find this video, you're doing well. You give me a listen, and we'll go from there. We'll go from there. I was just reading some of the Quran. See, there's a lot going on. So, been doing a lot of, seeking, allowing myself the openness, the oneness, the wholeness to accept truth. And that's about it. So I wanted to read some. I'm not going to say where I'm going to read it from. It's just outside of the Bible. I'm going to say that. And, let me know, because this is telling us who we are. And it's something that, like, I'm going to go a little bit before that. All right. All right, this is deep, so that's why I got to start from here. This title of this one is hey, you know what? I'm going from the beginning. All right. The hidden sayings that the Savior spoke to Judas Thomas, which I, Matthias, in turn recorded. I was walking, listening to them speak with each other. Jesus speaks with Brother Thomas. The Savior said, Brother Thomas, while you are still in the world, listen to me, and I shall reveal to you what you have thought about in your heart. Since it is said that you are my twin and true friend, examine yourself and understand who you are, how you exist, and how you will come to be. Since you are to be called my brother, it is fitting for you to be ignorant of yourself. And I know that you have understood, for already you have understood that I am the knowledge of truth. So while you are walking with me, though you do lack understanding, already you have obtained knowledge, and you will be called one who knows himself. For those who have not known themselves have known nothing, but those who have known themselves already have acquired knowledge about the depth of all. So then, my brother Thomas, you have seen what is hidden from people, what they stumble against in their ignorance. The hidden invisible. Thomas said to the master, "That is why I beg you to tell me what I asked before your ascension. When I hear from you about what is hidden, I can speak of it, and it is clear to me that the truth is difficult to accomplish before people." The Savior answered and said, "If what is visible to you is obscure to you, how can you comprehend what is invisible? If deeds of truth visible in the world are difficult for you to accomplish, how will you accomplish things of the exalted majesty and fullness, which are invisible? How will you be called workers? You are beginners and have not attained the greatness of perfection." Thomas answered and said to the Savior, "Tell us about these things that you say are invisible and hidden from us." The Savior said, "All bodies have come into being in the same irrational way that animals are produced, and so they are visible as creatures lusting after creatures. Those that are above, however, do not exist like those that are visible. Rather, they live from their own root, and their crops nourish them. But the visible bodies feed on creatures that are like them, and so the bodies are subject to change. Whatever is subject to change will perish and be lost, and henceforth has no hope of life." Do you hear that? Whatever is subject to change will perish and be lost, and henceforth has no hope of life, because this body is an animal body. Just as an animal body perishes, these modeled forms also will perish, and they not from sexual intercourse like that of the animals. If the body too is from intercourse, how will it give birth to anything different from them? So then you are children until you become perfect. Thomas answered, "That is why I say to you, Master, those who speak about what is invisible and difficult to explain are like people who shoot their arrows at a target during the night. Of course, they shoot their arrows as any people do, since they are shooting at the target, but it is not visible. When light comes, however, and banishes darkness, then the accomplishment of each person will be clear. And you are light, bring enlightenment, Master." Jesus said, "It is through light that light exists." Thomas spoke and said, "Master, why does this visible light that shines for people rise and set?" Oh man, listen, ears to hear, eyes to see. The Savior said, "Blessed Thomas, surely this visible light has shone for you, not to keep you here, but that you might leave. And when all the chosen ones lay down their animal nature, this light will withdraw up to its being, and its being will welcome it to itself, because the light is a good helper." Wisdom and foolishness. The Savior continued and said, "O unsearchable love of light, O bitterness of the fire, you blaze in the bodies of people and in the marrow of their bones, blazing in them night and day, burning their limbs and making their minds drunk and their souls deranged. You dominate males and females day and night. You move and arouse them secretly and visibly. When the males are aroused, they are attracted to the females, and the females to the males. That is why it is said that everyone who seeks truth from true wisdom will fashion wings to fly, fleeing from the passion that burns human spirits. And one will fashion wings to flee from every visible spirit." Thomas answered and said, "Master, this is precisely what I asked you. Since I understand that you are beneficial to us through what you say." Again, the Savior answered and said, "This is why we must speak to you, because this is the teaching for the perfect. If you wish to become perfect, keep these things. If not, the name for you is ignorant, since an intelligent person cannot associate with a fool. The intelligent person is perfect in all wisdom, but to the fool, good and evil are the same. The wise person will be nourished by truth and will be like a tree growing from the stream of water. Some people have wings but rush toward visible things that are far from truth. The fire that guides them gives them an illusion of truth. It will shine on them with a perishable beauty, and it will imprison them in dark delight and capture them in sweet smelling pleasure, and it will make them blind with insatiable desire, inflame their souls, and be like a stake that is jammed into their heart and can never be removed, like a bit in the mouth. It leads them according to its own wish. It has bound them with its chains and tied all their limbs with the bitterness of the bondage of desire, for whose visible things that perish and change will fluctuate impulsively. They have always been drawn downward. When they are slain, they are drawn to all the animals of corruption. Thomas answered and said, it is clear and has been said that many are those who do not know soul. The Savior answered and said, blessed is the wise person who has sought truth and with it has found has rested upon it forever and has not been afraid of those who wish to trouble him, our own and others. Thomas answered and said, Master, it is beneficial for us to rest among our own. The Savior said, yes, it is useful, and it is good for you, since the things visible among you will pass away. For the vessel of their flesh will pass away, and when it disintegrates, it will come to be among visible things, among things that can be seen. The visible fire gives them pain because of the love of faith they once had. They will be gathered back to the visible realm. Moreover, among the invisible things, those who can see will perish without the first love, and their concern for this life and the burning of the fire. There is only a little time before what is visible will pass away. Then shapeless phantoms will come and dwell forever in the midst of the tombs of corpses, in pain and destruction of souls. Thomas answered and said, what can we say in the face of these things? What shall we say to those who are blind? What teaching shall we give those miserable mortals who say we come to do good and not to curse? And will say further, if we had not been born in the flesh, we would not have known iniquity. The Savior said, to tell you the truth, do not think of these as human beings, but regard them as animals. As animals devour each other, so people like this devour each other. They are deprived of the kingdom since they love the delight of fire and are slaves of death and rush to deeds of corruption. They fulfill the desire of their parents. They will be cast down into the abyss and be afflicted by the compulsion of the bitterness of their evil nature. They will be whipped to drive them down to a place that they do not know, and they will leave their limbs behind, not with fortitude, but with despair. They rejoice in the fire they love, madness and derangement, because they are fools. They pursue derangement, not realizing their madness, but thinking they are wise. They the love of their body, their hearts turning to themselves, and their thoughts being on their affairs, but fire will consume them. Thomas answered and said, Master, what can one cast to them? I am very concerned about them, for many oppose them. The Savior answered and said, what is evident to you? Judas called Thomas, said, Master, you should speak and I should listen. The Savior answered, listen to what I tell you and believe the truth. What sows and what is sown will pass away in their fire and water, and will be hidden in tombs of darkness. And after a long time, the fruit of evil trees will appear and be punished and slain in the mouths of animals and people through the agency of the rains, the winds, the air, and the light shining above. Thomas answered, you certainly have convinced us, Master. We realize in our hearts it is clearly so, and your word is not meager. But these sayings that you tell us are laughable and ridiculous to the world, since they are not understood. How can we go forth and preach them when we are not respected in the world? Let that dwell in. All right, and I'm going to end it there. I just wanted to read that part. I love you guys unconditionally. Let that sink in. I'll be back.